So, let's dive into a story about a new developer, a guy named Bob, on his very first day at a new job. And what starts out as a super exciting new beginning, well, it pretty quickly turns into a high-stakes challenge. This really isn't just about learning a new operating system. It's about building the foundation for a whole career in tech, one command at a time.
Can you imagine this feeling? It's like 10 minutes to 9 in the morning. There's a huge client demo at 10, and your app just won't launch. This is that moment of pure panic our hero Bob finds himself in. It's a moment a lot of us in tech know all too well, where it feels like absolutely everything is on the line.
So why does Bob's panic matter? Well, because of this number right here. A mind-blowing 96.3% of the world's top 1 million websites run on Linux. It's the engine behind the fastest supercomputers, pretty much the entire cloud, and yeah, very likely the phone that's in your pocket right now. For Bob, and for anyone in tech really, knowing Linux isn't just a nice-to-have skill, it's an absolute necessity.
All right, so let's set the scene. Meet Bob. He's a junior front-end developer, super excited for his first day at this new company, Calliston Technologies. He's thinking he's going to be building cool user interfaces, but he has absolutely no idea what's waiting for him on that brand new company laptop.
It's unboxing time. Bob fires up his new machine, totally expecting to see that familiar Windows logo, but instead, he's greeted by Ubuntu Linux. And look, this isn't just a different desktop wallpaper, it's a sign of a massive culture shift. His new company is all in on DevOps and cloud-native development, and in that world, Linux is king. And here it is, the mission, should he choose to accept it. His manager, Andrew, makes it crystal clear. The success of Project Mercury, this major client project, hinges on Bob getting up to speed with Linux, and specifically, the command line. Talk about pressure from day one. The good news is, Bob isn't being thrown to the wolves. He's got a mentor, a senior systems engineer named Dave, and Dave is about to introduce him to the single most powerful tool in the Linux universe, the command line. Or, to be more precise, the shell. Okay, so what is the shell exactly? Just think of it like a direct conversation with your computer. With a graphical interface, you're clicking on icons and menus. With the shell, you're typing commands and talking directly to the core of the operating system, the kernel. This is where the real power is hiding.
So Dave starts Bob off with something simple. Just building out a folder structure. First, he uses mkdir to make a couple of directories. Simple enough. Then cd to change directory into one of them. He makes a few more. And finally, ls to list what's in there and check his work. See how they work? The commands are like little Lego bricks. Each one does a small, simple job, and you just snap them together to build whatever you need.
Next up, Bob gets the essential toolkit for messing with files. He learns MV to move or rename stuff, CP for copy, and RM for remove. And for that moment when you're totally lost, and trust me, it happens, PWD, Print Working Directory, becomes your best friend. It's like a little GPS that tells you exactly where you are. This is basically his command line survival kit. Of course, you're not making mistakes, you're not learning, right? So while he's practicing, Bob accidentally puts a new directory for Morocco inside his Europe folder. It's a tiny error, but it's the perfect chance to learn how to fix things the Linux way. And the fix is just one beautiful, elegant command. MV the Morocco directory from its current spot in Europe over to its correct home in Africa. No dragging, no dropping, no clicking around, just one precise instruction. And this is Bob's first real aha moment, where he sees just how incredibly fast and efficient the command line can be. So Bob's getting the hang of the commands, but he's still a little lost. Like, what is this kernel thing everyone keeps mentioning? And what's with all these weird folders like /etc, /var, and /dev? It's time to pop the hood and see how the engine actually works.
The kernel, it's everything. It is the absolute heart of the operating system. It's the master program that controls all the hardware, manages the memory, decides what the processor works on next. It's the bridge between all your software and all the physical computer parts.
To really make it click for Bob, Dave uses this brilliant analogy. He says, think of the kernel as a really strict but totally fair librarian. All the computer's hardware, the CPU, the memory, the disks, those are the books in the library. All the programs running are like students who want to check out those books. The kernel is that librarian in the middle, making sure every program gets the resources it needs, exactly when it needs them, and preventing total chaos.
Another huge concept is just installing software. See, on Linux, you don't just click an installer file. Use something called a package manager. If you're on a system like Bob's Ubuntu, that's APT. If you're on a server running Red Hat or CentOS, it's Yum. These things are absolute lifesavers. They automatically figure out all the little helper programs and libraries a piece of software needs to run, and they install them for you. It's what saves you from the nightmare known as dependency hell.
Okay, so Bob's got the theory down. He's been practicing his commands, but learning in a safe environment is one thing. Now, it's time for the real test. The project deadline is getting closer, things are getting tense, and, you guessed it, things are about to break.
Crisis number 1 hits. Bob needs to get some code from the company's internal repository. It's critical for his project. But he just can't connect. His browser keeps timing out. He knows he's on the company network, so what is going on?
The answer is right there in the error message, NX domain. Now, for any network troubleshooter, this is a massive clue. It doesn't mean the server is down. It means it's a DNS problem. You can think of DNS as the internet's phone book. Bob's computer was asking, hey, what's the IP address for Calida Derum Dest repos? And the phone book just said, sorry, never heard of it.
And just as he's wrestling with that problem, a second, way more serious crisis lands on his desk. A security analyst is on the phone. In a rush, Bob accidentally uploaded a file with sensitive client data to a company-wide shared folder where anyone could see it. This is a huge security breach. This entire crisis boils down to one of the most fundamental ideas in Linux: file permissions. See, in Linux, every single file and folder has a set of rules that say exactly who can read it, who can change it, and who can run it. It's literally the foundation of all security on the system.
Dave, his mentor, shows him the fix. And it's one single powerful command: change mode, which stands for change mode. He types change mode 600. And in the world of Linux permissions, that code is shorthand for one simple rule. The person who owns this file can read and write to it. Nobody else gets to do anything. And just like that, with one line of text, the file is locked down. Crisis averted.
So, after a couple of crazy, chaotic, but incredibly valuable weeks, Bob has made it through his trial by fire. He went from being a totally confused developer to someone who actually has a solid, practical foundation in the operating system that runs basically the entire modern internet. So what's in Bob's new toolkit? Well, he can fly around the command line, move files, create things, delete things. He actually understands what the kernel is doing and how to manage software properly. But the most important thing, he's learned how to troubleshoot real-world problems with networking and security. This isn't just a list of commands. This is the bedrock of a career in DevOps. In just 2 weeks, Bob went from panic to proficiency. He turned that scary first day into real, tangible confidence, building a foundation that's going to help him for the rest of his career. He built this foundation. So the only question left is, what are you going to build with yours?